Just ahead on CTV News, a Seat Pleasant mother shows no remorse as she's denied bond. Plus, the County Film Festival kicks off today, and the Commanders are hoping to bring home another big win. Those stories and more on CTV News, starting now.
Good evening, this is CTV News for September 26. I'm Mariah Jalad. Thanks for joining us. The Seat Pleasant mother who allegedly shot her 13-year-old daughter in the neck was denied bond at a hearing Wednesday. 32-year-old Taleka Brown will remain in jail after being charged with attempted first-degree murder. In court yesterday, prosecutors said Brown left a voicemail for the girl's father Wednesday, saying that if their daughter did not testify, this whole thing just goes away.
That was concerning to the state because obviously with her being 13 years old, she's very impressionable. And that's our concern, is that it's her mother. She's going to listen to her mother. And so we don't want her to be tainted in any way by the pressure.
The state's attorney's office also said Brown did not once ask how her daughter is doing. A Seat Pleasant police spokesperson said the girl is in stable condition. Brown's next appearance in court is set for October 25th. And last night, the city of Bowie held its monthly Community Matters meeting at City Hall, but its start was unconventional. Chief Dwayne Preston began the meeting addressing an incident earlier this month, where a Bowie police officer fired a single round from his service weapon after approaching a vehicle on the side of the road. As the investigation is still ongoing, Chief Preston wanted to ensure that transparency is given to the community, among the other matters addressed at the meeting.
We realize the sensitivities and the things that have happened throughout this country. We realize the fact that the community, in many cases, may not have trust in law enforcement to be in full disclosure. Okay, but one of the things that I've been committed to this community, the men and women of this police department committed to this community, and what I'm asking is for your trust and allow the process to work itself through. It is a totally objective, independent investigation. That's why we asked an outside agency to conduct it. We will trust the process and the findings of that.
Preston also noted that the officer in question's body cam and dash cam were recording during the incident. That footage has not yet been released. And Maryland State Police have settled with the U.S. Department of Justice for claims of discrimination. MSP settled for $2.75 million in relation to discrimination of officers of color in the hiring process. The DOJ's investigation into the Maryland State Police was announced in July of 2022. The settlement is pending final approval by the Maryland Board of Public Works at their October 2nd meeting. If the settlement is approved, the DOJ will inform individuals about the criteria to receive damages. A Baltimore County woman is sentenced to 18 years in federal prison for conspiring to damage and destroy the Maryland power grid. Attorney General Merrick Garland said Sarah Beth Clandaniel sought to completely destroy the city of Baltimore by targeting 5 power substations as a means of furthering her violent white supremacist ideology. Court documents say in 2022 and 2023, Clandaniel conspired with a man from Florida to cause significant damage to the Baltimore regional power grid. Clandaniel was also charged for being a felon in possession of a firearm. And thousands of Marylanders will no longer have to switch their healthcare provider after the Department of Health decides to keep Kaiser Permanente as an option for Medicaid. Last week, the department made the announcement that they would be dropping the healthcare giant as a managed care organization, which would have left about 110,000 Marylanders without healthcare coverage. The two came to an agreement Wednesday so that Kaiser will remain one of the 9 providers Maryland Medicaid offers in 2025. And today, a virtual event showcased Maryland's new health equity resource communities, which are designed to reduce health disparities statewide. The program, born from the 2021 Health Equity Resource Act, aims to improve health outcomes in underserved areas, benefiting thousands. Delegate Jazz Lewis, co-sponsor of the legislation, emphasized the importance of equitable healthcare access for all Marylanders.
It's about leveling the playing field, bringing critical resources to communities that have been underserved for far too long. Whether it's expanding access to primary care, behavioral health, or preventative services. This program is already making a real difference in closing health gaps across our state. And I've been particularly happy to tour some of the programs and see the implementation from St. Mary's to Prince George's to all over. By empowering local organizations and healthcare providers, HERC helps build collaborative, community-driven solutions that address the unique health challenges our communities are facing. But it's not just about the healthcare. It's about building healthier, more vibrant communities that give every Marylander the opportunity to thrive.
12 grants totaling $41.5 million have been awarded to fund these efforts through 2029. The initiative aims to reduce hospital admissions and overall healthcare costs across Maryland. And starting today, Americans will be able to order free COVID-19 tests. U.S. households will be able to order up to 4 over-the-counter nasal swab tests. This batch will be able to determine current COVID-19 variants. It will also include clear instructions on how to verify extended expiration dates. The tests are more accessible for people with disabilities affecting dexterity, blindness, or low vision. To place your order, you can visit covidtests.org. Your online partner might be a scarier version of the Tinder swindler. Prince George's police is issuing a warning over an increase in cases of sextortion. In these situations, a suspect will meet a victim over social media and pretend to be interested in the victim, either romantically or sexually. The scammer will then convince the victim to send them explicit images and then threaten to publicly share them unless the victim pays. If you are a victim of this type of scam, call 911, save the suspect's profile information and messages, and report and block the social media account. Now take a look at this stunning view of Hurricane Helene from the International Space Station as the powerful storm approaches the D.C. region. Helene is expected to hit the area tomorrow, bringing heavy rain, strong winds, and potential flooding. Forecasters warn of wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour with possible power outages and road closures. Stay tuned for updates as we track Hurricane Helene's path and its local impact. You're watching CTV News. I'm Mariah Jalad. Coming up.
Forget about that lavender haze. How about taking a walk through a corn maze? I'm Katara Jones in Gambrels. I'll tell you all about it coming up on CTV News.
We said we'd never break the 3-second rule. Never do that. And never become a minivan mom.
Hey, Chris.
As parents, we say never a lot, but never happens. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, know it can happen. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock.
Well, a historic meeting took place at the Maryland State House Wednesday as Governor Westmore welcomed King Abdullah II of Jordan. Under rainy skies, the two leaders embraced and discussed opportunities for future economic collaboration between Maryland and Jordan. In a roundtable with Maryland business leaders and university administrators, the discussion focused on trade, investment, and education. This marks the first official visit by a head of state to the Maryland State House. Governor Moore called it a significant moment for the state's global visibility and economic future. And a Maryland teacher is being recognized nationally for inspiring her students to create meaningful change. Christian Pensiero, a 5th grade teacher at Veterans Elementary School in Ellicott City, has been awarded the prestigious American Civic Education Teacher Award. Pensiero encourages her students to address issues they care about by taking action, whether through petitions or peaceful protests. She says she believes in empowering students to understand their rights and become engaged citizens. Now, with Election Day just 40 days away, we're seeing a major push for Americans to register to vote. Younger voters are turning out to register in higher numbers than the last election cycle, especially 18-year-olds that will be voting for the first time this November. This could lead to record turnout, depending on how many new voters actually cast a ballot. Some believe the uptick in young people registering to vote could be credited to celebrity endorsements, like one from Taylor Swift that set off a spike in traffic to vote.org. In Maryland, voters can register on Election Day, but other states have a registration deadline as soon as October 15th. And the Prince George's County Take 3 Film Festival kicks off tonight in Largo. The festival is designed to support and uplift local filmmakers, providing a platform to showcase their films and network with industry representatives and other local creatives. CTV News spoke with festival director Donna Foster Dotson on what participants can expect.
We help you see your creative vision and that we'll provide a service to you where you can showcase it, where you can meet other people and discuss and exchange ideas, and where you can learn from things in the industry that you didn't know about. You can also network and meet people who can help you grow. We have a finance panel where you can talk to people in the finance world about how to fund your vision and what you do once you get that funding. This is our third year, and I think that it exceeded all of our expectations. And when you talk to people that attended the film festival, they will tell you that one of the things that they like about this is that it has something for everyone.
For more information or to get your tickets to the festival, visit pgfilmfestival.com. Meantime, unemployment is down across the country. Americans filing for unemployment benefits last week fell to its lowest levels in 4 months. Applications for jobless benefits are usually an indicator of layoffs during that given week. This is the second week in a row that national unemployment benefits have fallen, after seeing a recent rise in weekly filings since late spring. And with that news, experts are signaling positive growth on the economy. According to the Commerce Department, the nation's GDP picked up sharply from the first quarter of 2024. Higher consumer spending is responsible for that growth. The U.S. economy has shown resilience after 11 interest rate hikes between 2022 and 2023. Last week, the Fed cut interest rates by an unusually large half point, showing its focus on tamed inflation and increasing jobs. Many Americans, however, are still upset with high gas, groceries, and rent prices. The next update on GDP growth will be in late October. And business is booming for the cannabis industry in Maryland. Recreational weed revenue is up 52% this quarter. It's the largest quarter-over-quarter increase since recreational adult use was legalized in July 2023. Maryland imposes a 9% sales tax on cannabis sales, and that is distributed to fund resources across the state. This increase could be a result of the price of a gram of cannabis dropping a whole dollar between September 2023 to March 2024. Well, eating in is back in again, while eating out is taking a back seat. More people are opting to make home-cooked meals over getting food at restaurants. Why? Inflation. Although inflation has been easing for more than a year and cooling even faster for grocery items, consumers say restaurants and fast food items are still too expensive. Popular chains like McDonald's are trying to ease the burden by bringing back the $5 value menu, while Olive Garden reintroduced its never-ending pasta bowl. Grocery stores are still expected to see more sales. Well, calling all Swifties, a popular Anne Arundel corn maze has officially entered its Taylor Swift era. The Maryland corn maze is back this fall and is bejeweling guests young and old with activities for the whole family. CTV's Katara Jones is at the corn maze and is ready to shake it off and tell you everything you need to know.
It's time to hop in your getaway car with your friend and even a lover and make your way down to the Maryland Corn Maze in Gambrels. And the theme for this year's Fall Festival and Corn Maze is, you guessed it, Taylor Swift.
The moms and the girls that pick date night are the ones who love Taylor Swift. Maybe that's not such a bad idea.
It all started with an idea from Carol Paul's son's friend to make this year's theme for the Maryland Corn Maze into a unique Taylor Swift maze.
So then we started designing the idea of a maze. And we do that on paper first. And we said we didn't want to do her face. We wanted to just do some of the things that she loved, that Taylor Swift loved, and things people knew about her, like the heart hands and her favorite number and the year she was born and things like that. So we put that into our maze design. Once we decided on the maze design, we then go about building it with a GPS.
Paul's team plants the corn at the end of June. Then 2 weeks later, they shape the design with GPS coordinates using spray paint and string.
From February all the way until planting day in June, I'm thinking of ideas. Every time I'm in a store, every time I'm visiting my family goes crazy. They're like, Mom, can you talk about something else besides the corn maze? I'm always thinking about ideas and how we can pull the theme into what we already do here.
Paul, who's a native of Prince George's, has been operating the corn maze since 2006, which has now grown to include a fall festival. Some attractions include corn pits, a petting farm, and a new paintball target shooting.
They've climbed our tire mountain and our giant hay pyramid. Zip lines is a great thing. We have our pony rides. We have a horse trailer here that they go in and play in the hay. It's sometimes hard for me to remember all the activities until I look around and take it all in. But we have our big web swings that they can almost get on as a whole family. Our slingshots. There's a lot to do besides eat the kettle corn and funnel cakes.
So if you're ready to say so long to your cruel summer and enter into your autumn era, then the Maryland Corn Maze is definitely a place to check out. Katara Jones, CTV News.
Thank you, Katara. A live concert will take place at the Maryland Corn Maze on October 2nd at 5 p.m. and Ohio-based singer Cannon Wren will be performing some popular Taylor Swift songs. For more details on the upcoming concert and the Corn Maze, visit the website on your screen. And still to come on CTV News, it's Suicide Prevention Month. After the break, we're joined by a woman who's fighting back against a common stereotype in the Black community. Back in a moment.
The doctor said I only had a 29% chance to find you. But I knew you were out there. Every night, even when my heart was sad, I wished for you to sign up. I got so sick that I couldn't go to school, but I still made people laugh. But when we matched, it was the best day ever. Dear donor, your blood stem cells saved me from leukemia. Thank you forever and ever and ever. Sincerely, Owen.
Experience the true joy of saving a life at nmdp.org.
September is National Suicide Prevention Month, a time to raise awareness about mental health, provide support, and highlight critical resources available for those in need. Suicide affects all communities, but the challenges faced by the Black community are often underrepresented in the conversation. Joining us is Takia Blackman, co-founder and executive director of Black People Die by Suicide Too, an organization dedicated to breaking the stigma and providing vital mental health support. Thank you so much for being here with us today, Ms. Blackman.
Thank you for having me.
So I wanted to talk about your personal journey that brought you to creating this organization.
Yeah, so I started struggling with suicidal thoughts around 11 years old, but I didn't have the terminology or really know anything about mental health or suicide. I just knew I had thoughts of often wanting to end my life and often thinking of ways to do so. And it wasn't until my early 20s where I had a suicide attempt shortly after I graduated with my master's. And I think for me at that time, it was a lot of childhood trauma that I was dealing with, as well as transitioning into young adulthood. And those two worlds just felt very overwhelming, and that led to my attempt.
Mm-hmm. And so did that lead you to wanting to provide some resources for people that were struggling with the same thing?
Yes, not initially. Mm-hmm. I took a lot of time to work on myself, you know, being in therapy, et cetera. And, but I started realizing that there was an increase of, you know, suicides by Black people. And I also lost my 13-year-old cousin to suicide. And often growing up, I heard that's a white people thing. Black people don't do that. And I'm like, that's not true because of the numbers. And so that led me to co-founding the organization because we really want to dismantle that myth and provide hope and resources to the community.
So why do you think that, you know, mental health and suicide might have a stigma in the Black community? And how does that affect people that are trying to seek help?
Well, I think it's from a lot of misinformation. So hearing things like therapy is for crazy people, therapy is for white people. So Black people often feel like, well, I'm not crazy, I'm not white, so why should I need therapy? I think a lot of that is also systematically. A lot of times people don't, Black people specifically, we don't feel comfortable sometimes talking to mental health professionals who aren't Black because our experience in America and around the world is very different. And so I think that also has a lot to do with it. But I see now that Black people are starting to talk more about it.
And during September Suicide Prevention Month, what are some of the messages that your organization is trying to spread to the community and the Black community, to raise awareness about the stigma and about prevention?
So we do a lot of public health educational programming where we go and we talk to various communities about the signs of suicide, best ways to support an individual, the correct language such as died by suicide versus committed suicide. And then also we host a variety of events. Most recently, we're preparing to have our brunch to raise awareness about suicide, where we will actually have images of Black children and also even up until people until their 80s and 90s who have died by suicide, to show that it's happening to our children a lot, but also that it's happening to the entire community, and also to provide resources such as our Black and suicidal peer support groups. Some people may not feel ready for therapy, but they're more likely to speak to someone like me and my co-founder. So those are some of the resources that we offer.
Great. And what's some advice that you might offer to someone that's struggling with mental health right now, maybe doesn't know where to turn, or someone that has a loved one that they see struggling, they want to help? What advice would you give to them?
Well, of course, we have the 988 number so that people can use that, and not just if they're struggling, but if they have a loved one, and they'll connect you, to community resources. People can also consider organizations such as the National Alliance on Mental Illness or Depression Bipolar Support Alliance or Black People Die by Suicide too, where they offer, all of those organizations offer a lot of free resources. And even if they go to our website, there are resources that we have there as well, such as Psychology Today or therapyforblackgirls.com. And that way people there are a lot of free and low-cost services that people can use, but also if people are interested in terms of seeking treatment, I would encourage them to do so. I've been in therapy for almost 9 years, and who I was in 2016 when I had my attempt is not who I am today. And so I hope that people can find hope and recovery in my story.
All right. Thank you so much for being here with us and sharing that today, Ms. Blackman.
Thank you.
Thank you. For more information on the organization, visit blackpeoplediebysuicide2.org. If you or someone you know is dealing with thoughts of suicide, you can text or call the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988 for help. And still to come on CTV News, Simon Buggs has our Thursday sports page. He's talking football and find out about the newest Bowie Baysox prospect. Back.
More than 6 million kids in the U.S. have ADHD. Many aren't getting the support they need. At understood.org, we can help. Sometimes in class, the only thing your child can focus on are the thoughts racing through their head.
Why can't I just pay attention? Why am I always falling behind? Why do I feel so alone? So different.
Your child is looking to you for answers, to help them make sense of it all. But as a parent, you probably have a lot of questions too. What should I do next? Where do I even start? At understood.org, we provide parents with the resources they need to help kids with ADHD thrive. Your child wants to thrive. Be the reason they do.
What's going on, sports fans? It's time for your Thursday Sports Page. Let's get into it. We begin with some minor league baseball news as the Bowie Bay Sox season is in the books. And catcher Samuel Basallo had a very strong season for the team. So much so that he was named the Eastern League's top MLB prospect by league managers. In 106 games for Bowie, Basallo finished with 22 doubles, 16 runs, 55 RBIs, and 9 stolen bases. And among the Eastern League hitters, the Dominican Republic native finished 4th in batting average with .289, 8th in homers and extra base hits with 38, and 5th in slugging percentage with .465. Basallo is the first Bay Sox to be named the Eastern League's top prospect since Adley Rutschman in 2021. Good job, Samuel. Meantime, the Baltimore Ravens will return to action this weekend as they'll take the field against the Buffalo Bills on Sunday. Baltimore will be looking to move to a .500 record of 2-2 with a win against the Bills. But it won't be an easy dub by any means, as Buffalo has been on a roll to start the year as they are 3-0. A big reason for that is quarterback Josh Allen. And head coach John Harbaugh gave his thoughts on facing off against the two-time Pro Bowler.
Everybody that watches football in this league understands those challenges that he poses, and he's just one of the very best in the business at what he does. He's unique. You know, he plays his style, and he does it his way. You know, and they build the offense certainly around him, all the attributes that he has, throwing, running the offense, the read stuff, reading things out in terms of the passing game. He throws it to every level. So, and he's got a really good cast around him. So, big challenge.
Kickoff is at 8:20. I'm looking forward to it. The Washington Commanders are also gearing up for a game as they'll be going to Glendale to take on the Arizona Cardinals on Sunday afternoon. Washington will look to keep their win streak alive as they have a shot to make it to 3 straight victories if they take down the Cards. And if the team wants to do that, they have to improve on both sides of the ball. Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels spoke recently, and the LSU product talked about what his takeaways were from Monday night's game against the Bengals and how he can be better.
Just go out there and just trust myself. I mean, there's sometimes maybe I could have ripped a pass here and there. It ultimately didn't result in a negative play, but, you know, just looking back, it's like, man, maybe if I had that play here, we could, you know, extend, have more yards, more explosive plays and things like that.
The game begins at 4:05. And sticking with Commanders news, Daniels was named the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. This comes after Daniels' dominant performance in the team's win against Cincinnati, where he completed 91% of his passes. And that was a record as it was the highest completion percentage by a rookie in NFL history. So far this season, Daniels has completed a league-high 80% of his passes for 664 yards, 2 tubs, and 0 picks.
So, Simon, what are going to be the keys to the Ravens keeping up that win streak, turn the season around?
Yeah, well, two things more. One I want to start off with, and it's probably going to be an obvious answer, but I want the Ravens to definitely lean on their run game like they did last week against the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. The Bills they're ranked 16th in terms of rushing defense. They give up over 100 yards per game, so definitely feed King Henry. Lamar can get in on some of that action too. Justice Hill, they have to make sure to rush the ball. And also, they have to be better in their late game execution as well. They almost blew a 28-6 lead against Dallas last week. Mm-hmm. They have to be better. They have to be better than that in terms of offense and defense. They may not be so lucky this time around with a Pro Bowl quarterback like Josh Allen if they have a lead and they and Buffalo has a chance of coming back. Right. So they definitely got to get the win on Sunday.
All right. Thank you, Simon. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Now let's get a look at our 3-day weather forecast. Hurricane Helene is bringing strong winds and storms this way. Friday, we have a 70% chance of showers, and it'll be 77 degrees. Saturday, more rain is expected. We're going to have a high of 81 and low of 67. Sunday is going to be 74 degrees, and we'll have a 50% chance of rain. And for our community calendar, this Saturday, the Hyattsville Library is hosting a beginner's guitar class. This course will familiarize those who have never played the guitar with some notes on the strings and how to fret basic guitar chords properly. Limited guitars are available, so feel free to BYOG, bring your own guitar. The class takes place from 10:30 until 11:30 a.m. For more information, contact 240-455-5451. And that wraps up CTV News for now. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.
Good night, everyone.